Welcome, Knicks fans. This is another episode of Sky Hoops Knicks Dreams, and we're coming to you to cover a couple of, issues, not issues. We're going to talk about actually the Knicks versus Jazz pregame today. But before we even touch up on that, of course, we're also going to be covering some of the game that took place on, what was it, Monday night between the Knicks
Yes,
and the
sir.
Hawks. So, welcome aboard. I wanted to welcome in our family out there, our Knicks fans family, and of course, our panel family. Co-hosting with me today right now is Mr. Bill, who's in the building. And Mr. Bill, you talk to
Yo,
me. What do
yo.
you think, brother? What do you want to tell our audience?
Well, first I want to say salute to the Knicks family. What is this? What does my shirt say? New York Knicks forever and
Yeah,
ever. We're gonna chop up Monday's game and then chop up tonight's expectations, and I'm looking forward to it.
for
Hope
sure.
we got a, hope the audience jumps in. Send us some chats, give us your feelings or what have you. I sent the link out to certain people, and we just need your support.
For sure, for sure. And then we also got uh my boy up in here who just got in the building, Henry. Henry, are you there? Can you hear us? And if you can, please talk to our Nick fans and our Nick family.
Salute, Henry.
Hey, yeah, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Absolutely.
sir.
That's good because the last time I was having technical difficulties with the sound, so I'm really glad that we started off better than the last time. And I just want to say welcome to Knick fans all over the world. And it's a new day, and I am hopeful, as all of us should be, that just like I said in our last episode, we are going to be in the game halfway through the fourth quarter in each and every one of these games, and that all my expectations are for now. As this season progresses, maybe that'll change, but for now, that's all that I need to see or to come to the conclusion that this season will be a success because the numbers will be whatever the numbers will be. And if I'm in the game with 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, I'm going to win enough of those games because of our defense and because of the coaching. He is not going to accept mediocrity. He's going to call a timeout as soon as he sees that the offense isn't running the way that he is designed it to run, and he's not going to accept mistakes. He's going to have a quick hook for anybody that does
That's
not
that's
do play their position as they're supposed to. And I
Good,
want to
Bill.
give a shout out to my man, Mr. Bill Adamas.
Bill Stradamus.
Bill Stradamus. I'm sorry. Please. Thank you for correcting me. Bill Stradamus, he just about called it. He called 109 to no one.
I called 114, 109, and it was what? 113, 108.
113, 108. We can't get any better than that. But he did predict a win. As a matter of fact, we all predicted a win. And, in spite of my trepidation and my apprehension and my concerns, they pulled it off. These
Yeah,
guys believe in themselves and in each other. And that is also going to win us a couple of extra games.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Bill, tell us what you thought. Give us your take on Monday's game. What did you see? How did you feel? What? Just share with us your thoughts.
Well, on Monday's game, uh, we started out well. What happened is Peyton actually played Trey to a standstill for that first quarter because Peyton was getting busy in that first quarter. The only thing is, I think Tibbs left him in too long going into that second quarter because in that first quarter, Peyton was driving, he was scoring, and he was defending Trey pretty good. Trey was doing a lot of passing in that first quarter. He took some shots and then he missed some shots. And then there was a time in that first quarter where we had a 10-point lead, and it turned into like a 1-point deficit in like 2 minutes. So we had to regroup, and that's the thing I like about this team. Like past teams, when Frensdale was coaching, we would have lost that lead and we would have just sunk. But Tibbs, Captain Hook, as you call him, Santana, Captain Hook don't play that. If you don't play D, you're sitting next to him and Woodson, and that's what I like. And Randall outplayed Collins in that first quarter also. It was like, I think I took some notes here. It was like 12 to 5 points, and he had approximately 4 to 5 rebounds. And then Rivers, he came in and hit like the Knicks' first three. The first three that we hit was like with maybe 15 seconds left in the quarter. So we ended the quarter up like maybe 2 points going into the second. And then in the second quarter, that's when they heated up, basically. So I don't want to take up all the time, but from the first quarter, I saw that. And second quarter, they heated up. And then at the half, and then somebody, this other guy, this guy that we're looking at now, Herta, this guy came in and launching and hitting some threes. He had a couple. I think Boggs hit one. And then they had what's their big man? They had the big man dropping threes on us. So we regrouped. We played together. That triangle was in effect. Randall was out there looking like, he was looking like an MVP candidate again. He was dishing and swishing, as Brother Clyde would say, as Uncle Clyde would say, he was swishing and dishing. RJ had a strong quarter. Peyton had cooled off, and then Randall had a good quarter. Because at the half, he had, I think he had, his line was 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists at the half. And however, we were down by 4.
Right.
Because they scored like 17 points in the final like 4 minutes. So we had to regroup in that third quarter. But how did you see it, Santana?
Listen, I think you hit it spot on. I mean, definitely in that first half, it was pretty much an even game. But it was good because it showed me, at least, based on what I was seeing on the floor, is that the Knicks were going to compete and they weren't going to allow Atlanta just to run away with the game. So they were playing them, I mean, like you said, it was a 4-point differential by halftime. So I wasn't too concerned. And I did expect that by the time they go into, halftime, and of course they go into the locker room, adjustments were going to be made. I equate to Bill Belichick, or when Bill Belichick was with Bill Parcells back in the day in the in the 80s of the Giants. Every time that they go into halftime, they would make adjustments, and you would see those adjustments by the time that second half came, and they take full control of the game. Now, in the third quarter of the game, Atlanta started to, run away with it a little bit. They got a little run, in the first half of the third quarter, and then towards the second half of the third quarter, things started to come back to the Knicks. They make their run, bring in the young guys to bring them back into the game. So, I felt, okay, here they go. They're getting their momentum back. And sure enough, it propelled itself in the fourth quarter when they brought in Quigley, who just ran with it, which was beautiful. I think he scored like 16 points. Yeah. And I don't know if he scored it all in the fourth quarter, but he was the catalyst in that fourth quarter. Now,
and he played the entire quarter. Sorry to cut
absolutely.
you off.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely correct. He played the entire quarter. He brought that energy off the bench. And that's not to take anything away from Peyton. Peyton did his thing. You know what I mean? And this is what I was saying when we were talking last episode about being able to use your ingredients. You got different players that bring different things to the game, and you make sure that you use it in a way that's gonna help you win. So what Peyton did in the beginning of the game, okay, he managed the game, he maintained the pace and so forth and so on, and then Quigley came in and closed out the game, giving him that extra push, that extra oomph of speed to really close out the game. And that's a beautiful thing. I like that combination. I like that blend, because I really believe that one of the things that Tibbs is doing is that he's trying to manage the clock. And he's doing it in a way that obviously first starts with defense, where you're going to be able to lock, teams down. And then from there on offense, he's not trying to run and gun with everybody because he's not trying to compete with all these teams that like to shoot threes and run and gun and not play any D, because that gets the game out of control. So what he's doing, in my opinion, is he's controlling the game. He's picking his spots when he's going to inject speed and when he's going to slow down the pace and get them into a nice set offense. So, those are the kind of things that I'm looking at and I'm seeing, and I'm totally impressed. I'm all in. I'm looking at it, in terms of coaching and the moves that are being made and the pace that's being set. And yeah, I know folks want to run and run and run and run, but running doesn't necessarily mean winning. Okay, especially in this era, you got a lot of teams that they could shoot threes and run and gun, but does it translate into winning basketball towards the end of the year when you're, position yourself in the playoffs, when you know that in the playoffs it's a half-court game? So, I'm going to leave it there for now. We can get into details more, but I want to bring you guys in to, provide a little bit more insight.
Santana, what you got on the screen there?
I don't know. Right now I'm going to turn this off. Okay. Yeah, there it goes. We got the, it just finished. It just finished right now. So go ahead.
Will the Dream be joining us today? Hakeem the Dream?
Hakeem the Dream. I texted him. I spoke to him and I gave him some information. I don't know whether he's trying to reach me because I don't have my phone at my hand, but I want to look for it as soon as I finish making this point. In the last 3 games, the last 3 wins, let's take away the what's that game that they lost against the Toronto? Okay, I'm looking up the last 3 games that they won. That was Indiana, the Hawks, and the Cavs, right?
Yeah.
And I'm seeing so far a trend. Okay, and the trend is the fourth quarter. Okay, yeah. And in that fourth quarter, we held down the Hawks to 20 points. We held down Indiana to 20 points. And I'm not sure, I haven't finished looking at the Cavaliers. No, that was a preseason game. I'm sorry. But it's like we are playing defense in that fourth quarter. And that is what's going to propel them to be the team that they used to be. We used to own the fourth quarter, man. That was Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason. And that was New York Knicks time. That was when we owned the paint and we owned the fourth quarter. And if we were winning after 3, or if we were close after 3, there was always going to be, oh, we got this. It was a feeling that you said, we got this. Now, I don't know if we're ready to move on yet, but I was watching Jazz last night. Not yet. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was
watching Jazz last night. Now, there's 2 things going on. Either they're going to be motivated to win this game, or they're going to be tired.
Yeah, because they got stomped.
I thought we were playing over there, and I thought that we were traveling to them. But they're the ones that's going around in this East Coast swing, and they're not looking too good. And after getting beat down by the second unit, basically, of the Nets, let's do things again that can happen. They can come in here really pissed off about having lost that game, or too tired to deal with the defense that we're going to show them, And so I'm more hopeful tonight against the Jazz. I thought that I was getting it confused, I guess, with Murray and the boys. Murray is not Utah. It's Denver. So Utah doesn't look as scary as I thought, like when you say, oh, we're playing the Utah Jazz. That was one of those games that you put down in the loss column if you're going to, choose 37 and 32 or 35 and 35. You figure that this, not anymore. This one looks really, really winnable. Okay?
I agree.
And, So only because of the way that we look and the fact that they're coming from out of the back end of a back-to-back. I see we have somebody else join us. What you call him, Mr. Bill Stradamus?
I called him the Dream. Hakeem the Dream.
Okay.
Salute, Hakeem. Yo, I give nicknames to everybody, man. So don't take it personal. But behind the scenes, if you want me to not call you that, just let me know. I'll find another name.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
That's it. Don't call me late for dinner.
I got you.
Okay.
How you doing, Hakeem? Give us your thoughts on Monday's game, and then we'll talk about tonight's game. We want to give you the floor because we already touched up on it. Us three. Now it's your turn, brother.
Okay, quickly, I just want to touch up and say thank you to the city of Atlanta and the great state of Georgia. They gave us 2 wins this week after last night. So quick claps. As far as going back to the game, just some quick highlights. I like the fact that we jumped out early on them. We got up on them early, 24-14 in the first quarter. Running down through the beginning of the second quarter, we kind of tightened up our defense on them. We held them to 9 halfway through the second quarter. Then they got loose on us for the second half of the second quarter. Third quarter didn't start out so well for us, but we got the ship righted. We got ourselves, back on the offensive end, scoring, and we ended up matching them.
Even welcome to the quarter.
In the fourth quarter, we locked down our defense and played good basketball and took it to the end. And that's just an overall, a brush down of what I saw. We can get into details later, but I'll bounce it back to you guys.
Mr. Bill?
Well, I wanted to go back to what Henry was saying, and with regard to that defense, like that Henry kept saying, if we're close in the fourth quarter, and that defense is reminiscent of those '90s Knicks and Miguel. We used to be going watching the games together, and we would wait for the fourth quarter and for the Knicks to put the lock and the clamps on whoever we were playing, and we would more than likely pull those games out. Yes, we had the locksmith Anthony Mason. We had Oak, Patrick, Starks. It was just a total defensive mindset, and I think that's what Tibbs has brought back to the Garden. And we're lucky to have him. I believe.
Agreed.
Absolutely. And I was talking about this in another show. I think it was yesterday about what we're seeing right now is old school basketball, back in the '90s basketball. And that's I think by design, because that's Tibbs' foundation. That's where he's coming from. That's where he was bred in. He was part of Pat Riley's staff. He was part of Jeff Van Gundy's staff. And then he eventually became a coach, an assistant coach under Doc Rivers, who ended up winning a championship with Boston. So he brings that. And then, of course, when he ended up coaching in Chicago, he brought that element to that team. And then eventually he went to Minnesota. He tried to implement it. Now, it didn't work out at the end for them, but he ended up bringing that team to the playoffs after so many years not being in the playoffs. So he has a trajectory of winning. But the beauty of it that I'm enjoying the most is that throwback defense, because in this NBA right now, there's so much emphasis on offense. People lose sight of the importance of defense, and defense is critical in the playoffs. That's why this team, they continue at this pace, playoff. There's no question in my mind. I have no doubts about it, because hey, I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to put it on the table. I'm going to put it on the table, man.
I agree. Let's go.
Hey,
Why not?
Why not?
I laugh because I am enjoying your optimism.
Yes.
Okay? I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. But playoffs, go back to that man. I think it was with the New Orleans Saints that they asked him, what about the playoffs? Yeah. Fellas, let's temper our enthusiasm here. Okay? It's 4 or 5 games into the season. Let's not start talking playoffs. Okay? We gotta keep it real. Keep it real. we are going to be a tough out, man. And that's what the real reality is, man. I was looking at the playoffs. And my last segment, I mentioned about the fourth quarter, 22 for the Cavs, 20 for Indiana, and 20 for the Hawks. We own the fourth quarter, fellas. And you know what else we got? We got an X factor. You know what the X factor is in all of this? IQ. You know IQ? Emmanuel Quickly. He is the X factor. What happens is this. Like you said, my man Peyton, he manages the game. He starts driving to the basket because he knows that he has to do that or he'll get an earlier hook. Okay? So he manages the game and gets to the basket. Then in the second half, we speed it up a little bit more. While the other team is already tired of doing, 36 minutes already. Now we got this kid up bubbly and jumping up and down and going back and forth, and they can't stop him and making threes. The kid makes threes. So now when you're making threes, you're really, you crushing the defense. Okay? And that move to put a bigger man on what's his name, on Trae Young.
On Trae Young. Austin Rivers.
Yes.
You got to body him, man. You got to put your weight on him. Put your weight on him.
And that's it. That's all. Get a couple of fouls. You got 5 of them. Use them bad boys.
But did you notice that when Trae was getting those calls earlier, Tibbs was barking on the referees every time. So that when that last crucial play, when Austin was able to draw the offensive on him, excellent. That
And Quickly stole it from him too. That could have been a foul, and they let it go.
Yes.
And that's what Tibbs does. That's what coaches do, man. They get in the ear.
They work the refs, man. They work the refs. He's like, a veteran. He knows what he's doing.
Hey, And like for a couple of times, we went down court and drove down the middle and got hit, no call. They come back, drive down the middle, get hit, and get the N1. Hey, what's up with that? Well, we and all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, the calls are made a little differently because now you've earned some respect. The Knicks in past years, they would never get those calls in the fourth quarter.
No.
That charge would have been an offensive foul on Rivers. Okay,
well, they want to play 4 quarters of basketball too, or defense. So they'll give them those calls if they earn them early in the game. Like you said.
Right. I was working with a team when I was at my last school, and we were playing a team from Brooklyn somewhere, and one of the refs came in at halftime and he said, "You know why they're getting all the calls? Because they're being more aggressive." And that's what you have to do. You got to play aggressively until the end of the game, and at the end of the game, let the chips fall where they fall, man. But again, same thinking goes into what the end of the season is going to look like. Let's just play the games. Let's play the games and let the chips fall where they fall. And if that means playoffs, well then, hey, hooray.
Okay? Brother, I say playoffs. I'm saying playoffs. I'm putting it out there. They're making the play. They're making the play-in and the playoffs.
Play out.
Somebody's playing in to play us.
There you go. There you go.
You think you're going to be in the 9th or the 8th?
I mean, if they keep staying aggressive, listen.
Well, where are we now?
I said 37 and 35 out of the 17 games. Wherever that lands you, that lands you. 7th spot, 8th spot. The East has never been, terribly difficult in general. You still is top heavy, so those 6, 7, 8 spots is going to be up for grabs. Hey, man, stay aggressive, play hard.
So who your top 6 again?
No, I'm just saying that the East is usually top heavy with those teams that land 1 through 5, but 6, 7, and 8 spots they go to 500 teams or right around that.
So I'm asking you, just off the top of your head, who you consider the top 6 and who are the lower 4, the next 4? Because it's going to be 10 teams this year.
Yeah.
7, 8, and 9, or 8, 9, and 10 are going to be playing in games or something like that.
It's too early to tell.
Okay.
Too early to tell.
Yeah, but there's always this preseason projection that people have, like, Boston, Milwaukee, who else? Miami. That's already 3.
Yeah, those are
Toronto,
the
4.
last teams. They'll be there. They'll be there.
Okay.
Surprise teams. I told you the surprise team for me was Atlanta, and we handled them.
And we hit. Whoa, that's
know?
a nice way of putting it, man. We handled.
Yeah. I told you that's a team that we should look at. They're going to make a move this year, and they're adding. What it is what I like about their team construct is that they have their young stars. They're the guys they drafted in the first round are becoming stars, working towards being all stars, and now they're adding starting veterans from other teams to come in and be their bench, and that's when you have a really high quality team. And that's what I see out of them. Not that they'll be competing for championships, but they're another team we should be lockstep with. Boom, boom. Those teams that are at the bottom with us, as we make moves, they shouldn't be stepping away from us. We should be going up the East with them, at the very least. We don't want to be bottom feeders anymore.
All right, sir.
Well, I mean, listen. I'm sticking with my prediction. They're gonna be in the playoffs. I'm not shying away. I know what I see. I see playoffs. I see playoff basketball right now. Not even right now. Starting in the preseason, game 1 of the preseason, I saw that defense come out there like vultures, scrambling all over the floor, doubling down, going scrambling for loose balls and stuff like that. And it's carried over into the regular season, now to the point that everybody that comes into the game, they know what the expectation is. And when you play defense, you give yourself every chance and every opportunity to win games. And that's what they're doing. And then on offense, they're managing the game, and then they're picking their spot. They're not running and gunning. They're running. If you guys remember when the Chicago Bulls were in their heyday, they weren't a fast break running team. Yeah, they'll take those moments and spots and do that, but they were getting into their offense, to that triangle offense, and that's what you're seeing to a certain extent with Thibodeau right now. You know what I mean? He's not rushing into just let's trade basket for basket. No. There's a method to the madness. Let's control the pace of this game, and let's change the pace when it's in our advantage. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm loving it. Now, there are a few little things that, have me a little worried at the end of the game, the last game, which is, those 2 turnovers towards the end of the fourth quarter. First, Randall getting stripped, and then Bullock, passing it to the backboard. I'm like, yo, what was that about? So that was part of the issue. But even before you got to that point, I don't know how many timeouts Tibbs had, because that was a perfect opportunity to bring back quickly, because he took him out for defensive purposes, to get Bullock in there, maybe to play some defense or whatever the case may be. I would have called another timeout after they made their shot or whatever, and brought my guards back in, so that on the offensive end, we can handle the ball and we minimize those turnovers. So I saw those mistakes, and I'm like, oh man, what happened here? I don't know if they ran out of timeouts or, they just didn't think about it. But that's something that I know they can clean up. But other than that, I love the game. But go ahead, fellas. Take it away. You guys tell me what you think.
I agree with you. I think that was the one area of the game where the coach mismanaged the game. He clearly mismanaged the game. I mean, I give him the kudos for what he's doing so far and for what he's bringing. But that was the first mistake that I see him make. Okay? And like you said, I don't know if he had timeouts, but whether or not he had timeouts, he did not prepare them for that press that they were going to put on at that point. So there was no clear movement of players to free somebody to come to the ball that was going to get fouled and to be able to give a pass right away. Because what happens is the ball came in and they got stuck in the corner. That was the worst place to get the ball. You got to get the ball to the middle somehow. So Randall should have ran across to the other side when somebody comes from the midcourt down the middle, gets it, and then kicks it to each one of the sides. But they were getting the ball inbound in the corner and getting trapped. And I think, like you said, I agree for him bringing in Bullock for defensive purpose. But at that point, we were far enough ahead that we didn't even need that much. You didn't need all of that back and forth nonsense. What we needed was Quigley in there because he's a foul shooter and a
Right, exactly. That's why I give Tibbs an A- for that.
Yeah, take out. Thank you so much. A- or B+.
Yeah.
For that move. Okay, that's a boneheaded move. I mean, he meant well, but it didn't work out because the guys are not ready for that yet. They haven't practiced that stuff.
Still learning the team.
Say that again?
He's still learning the team. He has to put guys in position. He's testing them out. It's early in the season, you know?
Right. But there was no clear play.
No clear play. No, I absolutely agree with you. I'm just
left. We're up by 3.
I'm trying to soften the blow. I'm trying to soften the blow a little bit.
No. I like it. Give it to me straight, man. We're not sugarcoating this shit. We're not sugarcoating nothing. We're not going to sugarcoat nothing. We're gonna pat him on the back when he does well, and we're gonna kick him in the behind when he doesn't.
Yeah.
But on the play previous to Bullock, I don't know what he was trying to do, but on the play previous, it was Randall trying to dribble up the court and he got ripped.
Yeah, he got
should have passed it.
Passed it. He took one dribble too many.
Right. You can't dribble through a press. You pass over or around or however you got to pass through the press.
And he as good as he does, or for what is it? He played 42 minutes for 41 minutes and 30 seconds. There's always those 30 seconds that he does this boneheaded move.
Yeah.
But you got to live with that, man. You got to live with that because he's giving you more good than bad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you can't live with that when the game is on the line. You can live with that in the third quarter.
You got to learn. He's learning. He's learning. He's learning. So let's shift now to tonight's game because we got another 20 minutes to dedicate to tonight's game. What you guys think? What you anticipate? What matchups you see where things can be done? What type of strategy we can implement? So let's start out with you, Hakeem. What are your thoughts? Let's see the game through your eyes.
Okay. Well, the Jazz in general. We'll start with what they bring to the table, and then we'll go with what the Knicks can do to combat that. What they bring to the table on a regular night, and we got to see them last night in Brooklyn. They bring 4 out of 5 of their 6 basically starters, adding Clarkson into the mix there. So 5 out of the 6 are double-figure scores. Mostly high-end double, towards the 20-point marker, 15 to 20 points a game. So they can come at you from a multiple dynamics across the floor. Gobert is a beast inside. So you always have to watch that. But the Knicks have been matching up well against these teams that have been kind of hurting us a little bit in the past inside. So, I'm not against that. I would like to see, I guess, I don't know if is Noel hurt? Is that the reason he didn't play, or that was just coach's decision last game?
I think he's hurt.
Yeah,
I think yeah. But is he playing tonight?
I'm not sure. I got to double check on that. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that, Gobert is a beast inside. He's going to draw fouls. Hopefully Robinson plays smart. It comes down to that for us inside. Again, I said Trey was going to get loose for 40. He broke 31, but we controlled the inside, so we won the game. They didn't beat us up. Collins and this other guy didn't get loose. So I'm expecting the same type of approach for this game. If we can control the inside, Gobert is going to get his double-double, but if we keep it on the low end, let Mitchell go off, it's fine, and let the rest of these guys, give you something regular, just play our defense. Our defense has really stepped up this year and is putting other teams in press mode. It's taking them out of their comfortability of being able to shoot open threes, run their offense without any hindrance, and basically, if we stick to that, we should, again, be in the game and control, and if we keep, in tune with what we've been doing in the fourth quarter, I expect another win tonight, and we'll come up with a score later on.
Okay. Mr. Bill.
I see it very much the same way that the Dream just stated. However, we also got to watch out for Baby Wade because he's, he could be a problem.
Yeah.
That's Donovan Mitchell. In case you don't know who I'm referring to. His game is very much similar to Dwayne Wade. He's efficient.
Yeah.
And he makes the right play most of the time. So we keep an eye on him. and Gobert, and the rest I think will fall into play because they're going to have a problem because who are they going to put on Randall? Are they going to put O'Neal? O'Neal plays the 4 for them, and I think he's like 6'5", something like that.
Oh.
O'Neal or Favors.
Well, Favors, yeah.
But neither one of them can deal with Randall.
Neither one of them, yeah. Or maybe even
I don't think either one of them could really deal with Randall. So they're going to probably get a lot of help coming over with Gobert coming over to help, and then Randall can continue his high assist mark. He can throw a couple of lobs over to Mitch once Gobert comes in, tries to double him. If he, because Randall's gonna spin in or out a couple of times tonight.
Yeah.
So if he can notice that when he spins and they put Gobert comes over, if he can see Mitch maybe from the corner of his eye or something, or work out something with Mitch, say, listen, I know Gobert's going to come over and help me. Just be ready for a lob or two.
Okay.
Okay, Henry.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the score from last night's game, 130 to 96, and it wasn't even that close. It was 20 and 25 all game long, so I was peeking in and out. I think that was a depleted Nets lineup, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
KD's not
KD didn't play.
And they already
and Dinwiddie's out.
Dinwiddie's out for the year, which was two-fifths of their starting lineup. A lot of those other scrappy players they had on the court for some major minutes.
They reversed their lineup last night.
Say it again?
Yeah.
They reversed their lineup last night. They started their bench and sat their starters. They inverted it minus Kyrie.
Who? The Nets?
The Nets, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Except for Kyrie. Kyrie was the only starter that played with the second
subs, with the second unit.
Yeah, so they threw a wrinkle at them right away. Not saying we should do that, but I'm saying but that was something to look at, how they came to the game.
Again, okay, so Donovan Mitchell, he's a force to be contended with.
Yeah.
But the Conley kid, he hasn't shown me nothing. Okay, Favors, he doesn't scare me. And my boy, not my boy, but my friend's boy, Jared Allen dominated Gobert last night. Jared Allen.
Yeah.
Who the hell is Jared Allen?
Yeah.
Afro man.
He can play.
The Fro. That's who he is, the Fro.
He can play.
He could play, I don't know. But if I was starting a team and I had to pick between Mitchell Robinson and Jared Allen, I would pick Mitchell Robinson every day of the week. Okay, so if you think that he could play, then I know I got somebody that can play just as well with Rudy Gobert. Because Gobert is not a threat for anything. He's just a big guy, and he's underneath, and he does a lot of rebounding and then, in the paint stuff. Okay, he's not going to stretch me out. He's not going out there to throw no 3-pointers. All you have to do is put a body on him. Like I said before, I'm hopeful that these guys are coming in here tired or depressed about losing last night, but that they're not motivated to bring the A+ game. I could deal with the A game, but with the A+ game, it's going to be a tough matchup. Okay, because Donovan Mitchell can go off for 45. Like his number says on his chest. He can easily do that. And Gobert can easily dominate, all of our bigs. But again, they also have to contend with our players. That's what I say every day, in every game. They got players, but they got to contend with our players. So who, our players going to bring their A game again. And that's my only fear is that we don't have enough of a sample to say this is who they are. This is, 7 games. 7 games out of 72. We're still figuring out who we are. Once we become who we are, it's going to be, a team that when people see it on paper, they're going to go, oh shit, man, we got to play the Knicks tonight.
So let me chime in here. Okay, so I'm going to expand the sample size from 7 games to 11 games because I'm going to include the preseason because I saw from game 1 that they were playing defense. So that's the sample size that I'm looking at. And I do expect them to carry that moving forward. Now, in terms of matchups, yeah, Gobert, obviously, he's a defensive center, and he's going to get his points around the basket. The thing that he has an edge over Mitch is he's a little bit more disciplined. So he doesn't get into foul trouble as much as Mitch gets into foul trouble. So the challenge for Mitch is to be more disciplined, to be able to box out a little bit more. Don't go for the rebound as much, but box out, Gobert as much as possible so you can keep his rebounds under control. And that way you could avoid getting into foul trouble. Because I think where Mitch gets into foul trouble when he's trying to block a shot, you know what I'm saying? Or he's trying a little too much. But if he focuses on the box out, so if I was a coach, I'd be charting his box out, not your rebounds tonight. I'm charting your box out. Because I think that's what's going to make the difference in neutralizing Gobert. All right. Now, in terms of Michael Conley, who is the actual, point guard for Utah, this is a guy that is very, very heady. So he may not be one of these flashy guys or anything of that nature, but he can get people, their assists and stuff like that, get their shots off, and he's going to take good shots. So they're going to have their hands full with him because he's a crafty veteran. Hopefully, they could keep him under wraps. What I'm hoping for overall is that they're going to be tied, because this is a back-to-back game. So the Knicks got to jump on them. They got to jump in them and put the pressure on them and make them work on both ends of the floor so they could really feel the back-to-back. You don't leave them off the hook. Okay? The only hook is Captain Hook. That's the only hook that matters.
That's it.
Captain Hook. Captain Hook will pull whoever's not playing defense, whoever's not being aggressive, so that we can control the game. The other guy, the wild card in this equation, obviously, I'm not going to leave out Donovan Mitchell. Of course, Donovan Mitchell, and I know I've had this discussion with Henry, a couple of years about Donovan Mitchell. And, I'm not going to touch that right now because we don't have time for that. But nonetheless, he's bona fide star or on the thresh of superstardom. So hopefully we can contain him. I don't know if we can stop him, but if we can contain him, then we'd be all right. The one wild card that we have to watch, who's a sneaky player, is Joe Ingles. Okay? Because that cat can shoot.
He can shoot,
He can shoot, and he's very crafty at getting under players' skin to get them in foul trouble, to get them off their game and stuff like that. So those little things I'll be watching. And if I'm Tibbs, I'm telling my players, okay, just be aware of his tactics. Don't play into his tactics because that's to get you off your game. We need you locked and loaded and focused on what we need you to do here on the floor, on the defensive side of the floor and on the offensive side of the floor, regardless of who that player is that's going to be matched up against them. So that being said, those are the key, I guess, matchups that I'm looking at, and I'm hoping that they, approach it with some of the suggestions that I've brought to the table. And if they do that, I expect them to win. Now, had this not been, a back-to-back game, I would have probably given Utah maybe more of an edge. But I'm not. If I'm coaching them, I'm not gonna give that out to our team. Or let's just go out and play. No, let's take them out. Let's put them out of their misery. That's the approach, or that's the message that I would share with them. So go ahead.
Well, I'm getting text from one of my brothers on the Knicks Fix chat. That's Cuz Bugs. Salute Bugs. He's saying that we should put Rivers on Baby Wade, and he was saying we can't sleep on Conley. Conley actually dropped 30 a couple of games ago, or a game or two ago. So Conley, we do have to watch him, but we're gonna probably have to put different people on Mitchell to slow him down. That's what we're gonna probably have to do.
Do I see a Nilikina sighting?
Didn't need a last game.
I just want to add, they might have dropped whatever they dropped. But coming off of last night's game, Bogdanovich, 4 points. English, 7 points. Favors, 2 points. And Conley, 8 points. So if we're living on what they did a couple of days ago or a couple of games ago, this is what they did yesterday. Now that may be a motivating factor.
That's fool's gold, bro.
Huh?
That's fool's gold. Don't
gold.
sleep. Don't fall asleep on that. Don't sleep on that.
It'll be a motivating factor. But the point is this: this is who you are. You are who the record says you are. you scored 8 points last night, and you coming off a back-to-back, and now you want to show something. But I agree with you, Santana. I think the main thing is like we're gonna play defense coming out of the locker room. I mean, at the layup line, we're gonna be sharing. We're gonna be sharing body fluids on the layup line. It's like, hi, you remember me? Yeah, well, I'm gonna be in your shorts all day long. So we get used to it. That's the defense that has to be played. We 10 deep. We are 10 deep. All 10 of them got 5 fouls each. Let's use them. We're gonna play defense until they stop calling the ticky-tack fouls in the fourth quarter, and and get those guys in there. Get Nilikina in there for 5 fouls. As long as he plays some defense on Donovan Mitchell,
Yeah.
and put Bullock on him. Put Bullock on Conley. All of that. Those are the guys. Rivers, I need them for my threes. I don't want him out of the game in the fourth quarter. I need him for my threes. I need Quigley for those threes. I don't even know when Alec Burks is coming back. What the hell is going on here, man?
I hope he plays tonight because we're missing him.
We're not missing him, but when he comes back, because we're winning, even without him. But when he comes back, man, he makes us bona fide. He's a bona fide shooter, man. Yeah. I think that kid shoots about 80 from the floor. 80.
That's what he was looking like. Yeah.
He feels like when he takes a shot, he's in good position. He's square to the basket, and he's got good rotation, and the ball is in line with the rim. What else can you ask for?
Dream. What's your thoughts, Dream?
Okay, so I left you with the Jazz can do. Here's some Knicks nuggets so we can get to. If we can hold these guys under 30 points a quarter, that's first and foremost. Our defense hold these guys 30 or under. We've been doing that for the most part, minus 1 or 2 quarters over all of our wins so far. We need to stick with that. Our bench, we need to win with our bench. Last game, our bench, only 3 people: Quigley, Rivers, and Knox. We only played 8 guys. I don't know if you guys noticed that last game. We only played 8 people.
Yeah.
Little semblance of what the Knicks could do playing small ball. But anyway, going forward, those 3 guys gave us 30 points, mostly quickly with the 16. But most importantly, 6 for 9 and 3-pointers when we only hit 7 for the game. So that bench was very vital to what we did and how we kept pressure on Atlanta, because we can run these guys off the 3-point line. Our defense will do that to teams that like to shoot threes. That's what we did to Atlanta. Cleveland was another team that liked to shoot a bunch of threes and was high scoring.
Milwaukee.
The 3-point line. Milwaukee's another one. And then let the chips fall where they may when they come back, when they drive the basket. But outside of that, if we keep them under 30 a quarter, our bench comes to play. And another thing is rebounding. 40-plus rebounds will keep us in the game any night. On the games that we won, we were somewhere between 45 and 50, and keeping the other team to 40 and less. So those are very important keys to our chances to win tonight. I think 110-102.
Woo!
And that's where Mitchell scoring another 30. He's from New York. He loves playing here. Let him go. It's not a problem. I'm not about him.
That's right. He's from Winchester.
Yeah.
His whole
win every time, but this is what I see, So
I just want to give a shout out to MK Tiller, who's on the chat. Welcome. And yes, he says, let's get a win tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be the one to spoil the fun and
you do.
And to be but you know, we got to keep it real. We got to keep it real. I say we go into overtime, man. We go into overtime, okay? And Donovan Mitchell is going to put on the show, and because he got all of his family watching on closed circuit TV, and as close as he's going to get, he probably sitting with them overnight, or maybe not. I don't know, depending on the COVID regulations with the NBA, whether he can visit the family or not. But he probably going to get a good warm meal from Mama tonight, and a lot of encouragement from all his buddies and stuff like that, and I say overtime, and the Knicks pull it out 105. Is this a defensive matchup? No, I don't think so. Because, man, they only score like 14, 30, 29, and 23. They're tired. Nah, man, come on, man. Let's get away from that overtime nonsense, man. It's going to be a 115 to 105. We're going to win by 10.
Mr. Bill?
Yeah. So much for my optimism.
Okay, Mr. Bill Stradamus. Bill Stradamus is going to give us a prediction.
The crystal ball.
117, 114, Knicks.
117.
Okay.
I'm writing this down. 117, 114. What did I say? 115 to 105. And the Dream?
110, 102.
110, 102. And we're keeping the win streak alive?
Yes.
Win streak stays alive today, yes.
Yeah, and I'm going to make a prediction myself. I say 99 to 95 Knicks win. They're going to put the defense on them. They're going to suffocate. They're going to suffocate Utah.
Hope so.
Okay.
To the point that they're not going to be able to score 100 points.
They're going to score 15 points in the fourth quarter.
I'll take it.
You like that?
I'll go with that.
Lockdown.
Till it became a free throw game, and then we had Atlanta locked down to 14, so it's possible.
Lockdown. Yeah. So, fellas, this is it. This is our lunch, the lunch hour special here. Looking forward to tonight's game. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting. And, we could pick this up on Friday, same time, same channel, so that we can recap today's game and then we can forecast the following game. So, Henry, take us away.
Okay. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, Knicks fans all over the world, thank you for joining us this afternoon. And as we go off air, remember, once a Knick,
always a Knick. All right. Go New York, go.
Go. Salute.
Salute, fellas, salute.